Fritzl case. A true story of Elisabeth Fritzl, an 18-year-old girl who bore the pain of skepticism, torture, and horror for 24 years. Who was the felon? The answer to this question will shudder you and make you shake your head in disbelief. Joseph Fritzl was born on 9 April 1935 in Amstetten, Austria. In 1956, at the age of 21, he got married to a 17-year-old Rosemarie, from whom he had 3 sons and 4 daughters. Elisabeth Fritzl was born on 6 April 1966. She was an adorable kid with a beautiful smile on her face. Elisabeth completed her education at age 15. She wanted to become a waitress, so she started taking a course. She often felt terrified and anxious at home due to her father's strange behavior towards her. In January 1983, Elisabeth ran away with her friend from work and hid in Vienna. After 3 weeks of disappearance, police found Elisabeth and returned her to her parents' home. She went back to work to finish her waitress course. After completing the course in 1984, she was offered a job in Linz. Elisabeth was now 18, a gorgeous young lady with shining eyes, blonde hair, and strong ambitions. On 28 August 1984, on a hot and humid day, Fritzl told Elisabeth to climb down the stairs into the cellar to help him fix a door. Unaware of what was about to come, she followed her father down and began to look around. A different world existed down there. Joseph banned his children and wife from going in the basement, saying he was busy building a cellar. He built something similar to a jail or a dungeon with iron bars and no windows. He got official permission in the 1970s to construct his cellar complex. His neighbors observed him digging a hole and tossing tons of earth beneath the house. There were 2 doors to go in, a heavy hinge door and a metal door that could automatically open or lock with the help of a remote control device. To reach the built cellar, one would open 8 doors. The final door was the one he called Elisabeth to help him install. As Elisabeth turned to leave, Fritzl covered her mouth and nose with a piece of cloth, and all she remembered was everything went dark. He threw her inside the chamber, locked the door, and went back up. Her mother and siblings were searching for her everywhere, but she was nowhere to be found. Her mother, Rosemarie, filled out a missing report, but the police could not find any clue. Days began to pass, and then weeks. After a month, Fritzl handed over a letter to the police. It was a letter from Elisabeth which he forced her to write. The letter stated that Elisabeth was now staying with her friend and she doesn't want her family to find her or else she would leave the country. Fritzl also told police that Elisabeth had joined a cult. Down there, Elisabeth was shivering in cold and dark with rats roaming around her. That's when Fritzl entered the chamber. That day, a daughter was brutally tortured and raped by her own father. She was screaming with pain and horror, but no one could hear her. Everyone thought she had gone to live her own life forever and may never return. The following 24 years, Fritzl would go down there thrice a week, take food and other supplies. He would spend all day raping and torturing her. In November 1986, Elisabeth found out that she was pregnant, but due to constant sexual abuse and distress, she had a miscarriage in the 10th week of pregnancy. After 2 years, on 30 August 1988, Elisabeth gave birth to a daughter, Kirsten. On 1 February 1990, she gave birth to a son, Stefan. Elisabeth gave birth to 7 children in those 24 years of pain and misery. One of her children died after birth. Fritzl took 3 of her children out of the cellar as infants to live with his wife. Fritzl went to local social services authorities and told them that his daughter had left children on their door. He said to them that he wishes to be their foster parent. The Fritzl family was visited by social workers who didn't find anything suspicious during the whole time. Elisabeth still had 3 children down there who were teenagers now, so Fritz decided to enlarge the prison from 380 to 590 square feet. He made Elisabeth and the kids do all the work, including digging out soil with their hands for years. During all these years, Fritz became brutal, malicious, and heartless. He would rape Elisabeth in front of Kirsten, Stefan, and Felix, and play porn movies. He gave them a television, radio, and a video cassette player to watch. Food could be stored in a refrigerator and cooked or heated. Elisabeth knew that her life was over, and she would live in the dungeon until her death. So she began to teach her children to read and write. Fritzl often punished her and her children by shutting off the lights or refusing to deliver food for days. He threatened them that he would kill them all by gassing them. He knew the kids might try to meddle with the cellar door, so he threatened them that they would be electrocuted if they touched the doors. His neighbors often heard the noises from the basement, but no one thought of such cruelty going down there. On 19 April, Elisabeth's eldest daughter fell sick to the point that she would die if she did not get medical attention. Elisabeth begged Fritzl to take her daughter to the hospital, but Fritzl denied it. Seeing that she won't survive without medical attention, Fritzl asked Elisabeth to carry Kirsten out of the chamber after 1 week. After leaving her out, Elisabeth returned to the chamber, and Fritzl sent Kirsten to the local hospital in an ambulance. Fritzl later arrived at the hospital, claiming he had found a note written by Elisabeth. He discussed Kirsten's condition with Dr. Albert Reiter. This was the first time the medical staff found Fritzl's story perplexing and mysterious. On 21 April, the medical staff alerted the police about Fritzl. The police broadcasted an appeal to the public media for a missing mother to come and provide information about Kirsten's medical history, as Kirsten had kidney failure. When no reply came from the mother, the police reopened the case file on Elisabeth's disappearance. Fritzl was questioned about Elisabeth, and he shared the self-created story and presented them with the letters, including the latest written in January 2008 that he said was posted from the town of Kamaten. The police began to investigate and contacted Manfred Wolfart, a church officer and expert on cults. Manfred said no such group existed and pointed towards the letters, saying they seemed dictated and oddly written. When Fritzl returned from the hospital and went into the chamber, Elisabeth begged him to take her to the hospital to see Kirsten. On 26 April, Fritzl released Elisabeth and her sons Stefan and Felix from the prison, bringing them upstairs. He took Elisabeth to the hospital and threatened her to remain quiet. As soon as the police found out that Elisabeth and Fritzl were at the hospital, they detained them and took them to the police station for investigation. Even though Elisabeth knew that this might be the day of her freedom, she remained quiet to protect her children. She denied providing any details until the police made sure that she and her children were safe and never had to see Fritzl again. After the assurance, Elisabeth told her tragic story of 24 years in prison for the next 2 hours. She told them she was raped, tortured, and forced to watch porn to have sex with Fritzl in front of her teenage children. Fritzl, 73, was arrested on 26 April for severe crimes against family members. When the news broke, Rosemarie could not believe her ears. She never thought that her lost daughter lived under the same roof and was abducted and raped by her own father. The police took Rosemarie, Elisabeth, and her children into care. Fritzl told the police to enter the basement chamber through a small hidden door opened by a secret keyless entry code. The DNA confirmed that Fritzl was the biological father of his own daughter's children. Australian police called a press conference and said that Fritzl forced Elisabeth to write a letter the previous year, stating that she wanted to come back home, but it's not possible yet. He planned to free Elisabeth and her children and pretend that he rescued his daughter from fictitious cults. The investigation also revealed that in 1967, Fritzl broke into a home of a 24-year-old nurse and raped her while holding a knife to her throat. He was also named a suspect in the attempted rape of a 21-year-old woman. He also admitted that his mother was a strict mom who would punish and ignore him due to her busy work schedule. He locked her for 20 years when she grew old in the attic and blocked her window with bricks. He told his neighbors that she had died and locked her until she died in 1980. Fritzl destroyed his daughter's life for his gratification. On 19 March 2009, Fritzl was sentenced to life imprisonment without the possibility of parole for 15 years. Fritzl is currently serving out his sentence in Garston Abbey Prison. That's a wrap for today. Don't forget to smash the thumbs up, share, and subscribe to the channel to see our latest content.